Welcome to the Vocal Lab. Welcome to the Vocal Lab. I'm Jason Catron, and with me today I have Cameron, all the way from Dallas, Texas. The long journey over. What's up, Cameron?
Not very much. Just sitting in the Jason chair.
Sitting in the chair, the hot seat, right? Cameron and I have been working together for about a year now, and we've seen some cool stuff happen, haven't we?
Yeah, we've seen some bad stuff too.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, you take the good and the bad, right?
There's more good now than a year ago.
Totally. So just so people know, like, you obviously you love to sing. That's why we do this. But you were in Dallas. You're in school. You're working, and you had a desire to be better at singing, right? So you contacted me. Your main issues were what in the beginning?
Getting my high notes solid without like squeezing real hard. I was pushing to get every high note out, and I didn't feel like I was pushing. Like you don't know you're pushing. You're not like, Rah!
Totally.
But it feels like you have to do that to get it right. So I needed to not feel like this. I wanted to feel like this and do the same thing.
Exactly. So when we first started working together, his aggression was intense, and again, he wasn't fully aware of it. He thought. I mean, at one level, I think it's probably fair to say you thought what you were doing was pretty on point, right?
Yeah.
You knew it could be easier.
I thought I had to strengthen my notes, and that's why I wasn't hitting them. Like, I didn't think pulling off would be what made me hit them better.
Totally. So what you were doing was actually giving too much and being more assertive and aggressive and trying to power through them.
Yeah, like trying to build muscle strength for muscles that I didn't need to use.
Yeah. And so, and one thing about Cameron's vocal is he can sing really high, like crazy high. And that's actually easier for you now, right?
Oh yeah. Like my high range is easier for me to use than some of my mid ranges.
Totally. And I remember, in early sessions, like we were just trying to get your voice to open. I was trying to get you to chill and relax and help you believe that those higher notes were going to be easier. And Cameron's been really consistent to stay engaged and work on his voice. Probably, and one time, I'm gonna put this out there too. One time he texted me and was like, "Hey man, I think my voice is not feeling great. But I'm working it out. How much you working out? I'm doing at least about 6 hours a day." I'm like, whoa, So Cameron's one of the guys I work with that like is at least disciplined in working it out, right? And we had to talk about like
but not so disciplined in the workouts.
Yeah, sometimes that's true. That's true of all of us. But he's been really proactive to get growth in his vocal, and that's what we've seen. So it's been really amazing. We were talking about it a few minutes ago. Over this past year, like how his voice has grown and how it's opened up, and you've got more access to those high notes, and the stuff he's recording it just keeps getting better and better. It's been really fun to be a part of and watch that process. So I thought today what we could help you guys understand more of is kind of what his journey's been. And that is aggression with the vocal is one thing, right? We need attack on the vocal. Some of you are probably experiencing like, I refer to it a lot as jello, where you're like trying to make a sound, you're like, let's just say you're like ma 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 ma, and there's no form and structure to that, as opposed to ma 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 ma. That has proper attack on each little note and each word, right? So attack is one thing that has to be part of the equation, of course. Aggression is also part of attack, and when you get to know and understand your voice really well, and we find that balance in the vocal, that's when someone like myself is going to say, okay, now let's get aggressive with it, right? So, again, someone like, I can think of all kinds of people, but who's one of your favorite singers?
Sam Smith.
So Sam Smith, right? Sam Smith has a very high and lyrical component to his tone, right? A lot of what Sam does is very flowy and pretty, but there's also an essence of aggression.
But it's also like easy aggression.
Totally.
Yeah, I think that's when I started coming to see you, is when I started getting into Sam Smith. I'm like, well, I can sing his high notes, but I don't sound like him.
Yeah, right? It just wasn't as easy.
I'm yelling Sam Smith, and I'm not singing Sam Smith.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And that's the point. aggression, your attack on the vocal, has to come from a place of relaxed essence to it. There has to be a subtlety. There has to be...
I like the word nonchalant.
Nonchalant. We'll use that.
Nonchalant badass.
Totally, right? And that's what it gives you. Like, the best singers in the world have balance to their vocal, right? They have confidence in what they're doing. And in my opinion, a good dose of humility, you can do whatever you want. And you can sit in a chair and know that you can, right? And so one of the things, I think it's fair to say too, but the difference between you and I right now is not really the range. You got high range, I got high range. You got low range, I got low range, right? Yeah. It's not that. It's my confidence in my ability to stay nonchalant, right? And so still what we work on in his lessons is to really just reinforce your subtlety, your chilled out vibe, and try to find aggression from that standpoint.
Subtle aggression.
Right?
I do believe you've told me that before.
Like every time. Right?
Yeah. Be subtle. Be aggressive.
Trust it. All those words. But so what do? One of the things you still do, right? And this is what we're going to work on here today to kind of help people at home. Is you still can apply a little bit of pinch or pull back or press.
Yeah, right on the bridge.
A little push right on that bridge, right? As opposed to staying open, relaxed, again, subtly lean into it. Once you find that, once you get your belief in that, that's again when you can lay on the aggression. And then things get really dynamic and epic, right? Anything else will lead to push, which can lead to strain, cracks, right?
Shakiness.
And just no control, right? It's what it is. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not good. And that's when the frustration comes in, right? So let's do this. We're going to give you an exercise at home. And this is the main point, guys. What we're trying to focus in on here today is aggression is a beautiful thing in your vocal. I want it. I want every vocal to have some essence of aggression to it. But that aggression comes from discipline. That aggression comes from balance. That aggression comes from being subtle, from being chill, all those key words, so that you stand there again in your belief and your confidence, and it just flows, right? And then again, style and dynamic and drama and all that is individual, right? That's where the artistic side of what you're doing starts to come to life, and you begin to express that from a whole different place. And that's why this is so important, right? Yeah. Aggression on the other side is just pushed and forced, and it's going to be a tug of war of whether it's easy or hard at times, most of the time, right? So let's focus on this, man. We're going to do this. We're going to focus on the exercise gi today. Anyone's ever done any of my sessions or followed any of my videos, you know gi is an exercise I love. So let's do this. And you can pause and whatever at home and watch it, and try it yourself. But Cameron, let's try this. Let's just say it first. We're going to say gi. That was not good. Gi, gi, gi. All right, so right away I'm going to start to pinpoint what his is, okay? Mine different than yours. Mine had more expression of space, openness, and again, it's floaty, it's lofty, it's hooty. Yours was a little more pointed and direct. That's
so
speaking
because I'm
into,
not filling up the mass.
Yeah, again, you're speaking into your assertive, aggressive side. Another thing to point out to you guys is a lot of times that's sometimes it's a learned behavior, other time it's just your natural behavior. Like you're chill in your vibe, but you're also a go-getter, assertive. That's why you practice 6 hours a day or whenever you were doing it, right? Because you're like, I'm gonna get this done.
It's the only thing that exists.
if that's part of your personality, you need to put a big check on what you're doing vocally, because always our personality is going to flow into what we're doing in some way, and you may have to manage it to pull back from it, or you may have to add to it, right? If you're super lazy and chill, you may have to add a little aggression to that, right? But him being a super aggressive person, we have to balance that by pulling back from that at times. Yeah. So
you also have to keep your mindset in check. That's
absolutely
one of the biggest things that I've learned or had to struggle with is just. Oh damn! I lost the words. Good thing there's editing.
Yeah.
Fuck, the tangent is gone.
You're just saying one of the things you gotta like work on.
Oh
focus
yeah,
on.
about like your mindset is. I thought that the reason that I wasn't getting my high notes out is because I didn't build up the muscles to be able to use it. So I was pushing harder to strengthen the muscles so that I could build up and eventually hit it. But that is exactly the opposite of what Jason's talking about.
Yeah, totally, right? And that's what you showed right there. So when I'm like, kiki, that's much better. That is in line with mine. What you did before was kiki, and mine have more, right? But kiki, you were like pushing, you're pressing a bit, right? That's too assertive. Kiki. Good. For you guys at home, an analogy I use a lot on gi is kind of like in hardwood floors. Like if you saw the floor here in my space, there's like a lip and a groove, and they just kind of like snap them into place, right? When you're putting hardwood floors in. So this is just me, a visual sometimes I give myself, is that little lip and groove, no matter what. And it just sits in that same space, right? It's open, it's resonant, it's hooty, it's chill. What deceives us is that sound is kind of like vibrant and resonant, so it sounds like it has more on it, but it is so just like chill, right? So again, just say
like baked energy.
Totally. Say kiki. Here we go. So let's put it into exercise now. We're gonna go. Let's start here. We're gonna say. Let's say kiki. Now we'll talk about that one. That sounds great, right? So everything's chill. Everything's cool. There's resonance. There's tone. Let's keep that. Don't lose that. Here we go. Beautiful. That's it. Nice. Now so the one before and this one, we see a subtle change on the top, right? Mm-hmm. What happened? It's almost like it fell out of the groove, right? It went all right.
Started pushing that.
You started pushing
it. The micro push.
So let's start here. Let's start on this. Let's actually go here. We're gonna do one. I want you to say, "Gee." Yeah, let's do this. Good. Now we found more release on that. Nice. See how relaxed he's staying? So again, at home. Now let's go back to that sustained one. At home, a way to check yourself is listen for the resonance. Try to listen to where the direction, the pointing of the tone is coming from. If it's very mouthy or chesty, that's too much, of course, you know. That's in the mouth, right? That's hooty. There's like resonance to that tone, and it's also fluffy is a word I use a lot to describe it. So again, right here, listen to mine. Your turn. Keep that. Now we hear on his a couple there, right? On the top, you start to like just push on just a little bit, right?
Felt myself trying to try.
Maybe drop your head into your, like that. Just stay real chill. You're sleepy. That's it. Nice. That just fixed his problem, right? So again, right there, that proves the point. He started to just, in his own mind, in his own way, just by habit, right? Or by need to get it out. There was a slight bit too much aggression.
I just have to be powerful.
You just got to be right.
And it ruins me.
Right? That's what most of us do. You just got to be right. He just directionally and intentionally, with too much intensity, pushed it just a little bit. And the slightest little bit can knock it out of the just right spot. And so an exercise like this is to help you find the just right spot. Because when it's just right, it feels right.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel like when you push, your vocal cords compensate by closing more.
Absolutely. That is typically what happens, right? In a severe case, you'll push so much that they splat open, right? And you get air, or it falls apart, or it's just so tight, right?
It cracks.
But this is a good check on your aggression overall on the front end of what you're doing, right? So again, once we get his vocal and his mind, really, it's not as much the vocal as it is the mind. Once we get his mind to relax and trust what's happening here, we can then step into a place of assertive aggressiveness on a vocal, right?
I just need to sing
You
like
just sing
this.
like that the whole time. That's all I ever
I
do.
should play shows
Yeah.
like this.
Totally. It'd be sleepy, but hey. Makes sense? That's how you begin to fix this. And that's how you keep your aggression in check. Again, when it comes to the song, when it comes to the stage, we want the vocal to be ready to be as aggressive and animated and dynamic and colorful as we desire to make it in whatever your style is, right? But everything comes and flows out of a place of subtle, relaxed state of being, right? And so that's what you saw in the demonstration of his vocal there. And now he has more awareness to space and openness and chill that he can now start to play with, right? And bring in the assertion and the aggression. Pretty dope, yeah?
Pretty
Cool.
dope.
Good job, man. It's good to have you in LA.
It's good to be in LA.
Right.
I'll never leave.
You're leaving tomorrow. Cameron, thanks. It's good
Thanks,
stuff.
Jason.
Apply this at home. Work on this. Remember, chill is always the best way, and lean into your aggression from that state of being, right? You will find more in your voice by doing that instead of trying to force it into being, right? So from myself and the Vocal Lab Los Angeles, hope this helps you. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching that last video. Do me a favor now, click right here and subscribe.